Zenless is a game primarily focused on using teams of 3 characters to clear content, but we don't do that here. This is the story of how I beat the game with a single bear Thyron.
First step is to acquire Ben. It takes around 20 minutes to unlock the signal search function, aka the gotcha banners. With the game just coming out, the odds that we get Ben are the highest possible. The game does offer a free copy partway through the chapter 2 story, and story levels are replayable, so the challenge can still be done even if the gotcha pulls aren't in our favor.
Just call me Ben, or Big Ben. I'll protect everyone.
Well, alright then. Now, you might be wondering, why Ben of all characters? There's no way you can clear the game with a defender. Do I sense doubt in your words? That gives me a great opportunity to explain his kit to you. Observe. Ben's special attacks are built-in counters. I also don't have to rely on having energy to use it. The non-EX version is weaker, but instant, so good timing makes us practically invincible. Second, we already apply a decent amount of daze despite not being a stun character, especially if we get the full counter off. Daze is nice in the early game since enemies don't have specific stage buffs yet that make dazing the enemies harder or the stun duration shorter. As for our combos, we have the dash attack, the basic attack full combo, and that's about it. Counter and dodge when necessary. During these first few days of playing, I also use my counter as a sort of finisher if the enemy is already dazed or refuses to attack me outright. Time for the prologue boss. Oh god, he did like 200% of my HP already. Okay, noted. That move locks onto me. I'll have to save my special or perfect dodge that. I should have saved my ultimate since in the stun state, enemies do take more damage, but one final counter to finish him off. Now to grind out side missions while we wait to unlock the first chapter, and as far as combat goes, we're just fighting the same enemies, but with a different coat of paint. I won't be talking much about the TV screen portions of the game since there is no advantage or disadvantage to being Ben only.
Please try to keep it within your field of vision. Otherwise, good luck.
Thank you, Fairy, for the encouragement. Yeah, let's just say this particular enemy is one of the few I genuinely hate fighting. The unpredictable teleport isn't what it claims to be, but it takes a good while before I understand its moveset. Well, I have enough wishes saved to get my first standard 5-star, even if I can't use them, but we can always pick up an extra Ben on the way. Another great feature of Zenless is the fact they offer trial characters so you can experience the story to the fullest. For the purpose of our challenge, however, anytime we can disable trial mode, we will. I leveled up this bunny band engine and switched to it since it gives me 4% more defense in its substat, a decent passive, and will probably be our main weapon for some time, especially because we are either locked by agent level requirements or lack the means to retrieve other resources to upgrade Ben's skills. Not much to say about Butcher Phase 1. I took some unnecessary hits, but it was my first time. It's okay though, I perform better when I need to clutch anyway. Alright, Phase 2 is way more aggressive with these multi-hit attacks. What? That's not fair. How is that fair? A point-blank laser to the face? Oh, shh. Okay, now that's just insulting, Hoyoverse. The counterplay is to save my EX specials to block the first of the multi-hit attacks, since it's enough to stagger the boss for a moment. Granted, it would have also helped if I leveled up my skills, but I've only been farming XP mats for the last few days. Bro, what is this? Yeah, that right there, that is why I hate the Thanatos enemy so much. I remembered this being way closer than it was, but my memory must be clouded by how annoyed I was with its constant teleporting. A clear sign to do some more leveling. Plus, I finally gained access to Bang Boos, the minions of Zenless. The downside of doing solo challenges is we're never gonna get the benefits of the B and C abilities, but having a Bang Boo finally allows me to use chain attacks after dazing enemies. As you can see, the chain attack does really good damage, second to my EX specials. time for the Bellabug Gauntlet. The secret of fighting the mechs is to break their legs. While they do resist my physical damage, the impair damage makes up for that DPS loss. Greta is simple since all she has is a giant saw that can be countered since it hits multiple times. If you decide to dodge, be sure to try and dodge to the opposite direction. Hans does have a few long-range attacks with his excavator parts. It also seems impairing limits their movement. Granted, when I fight more of these machines later, their movement was still normal, so I'm not entirely sure. I detour while waiting for the main story to unlock to fight Hans again, but with an orange paint job. I have to do this a lot in the future since the materials it drops are used for Ben's core skill. I unlocked Shiyu defense for the first time, where you have to complete the stage within a certain time limit to get S rank. We'll come back to this on a later day. Trying out my first rally commission, while this ethereal was a bit juiced up and made me bleed a little bit, it's nothing Ben can't handle. The cool thing about rally commissions is in addition to a preset map you have to clear, you also get these fissure challenges. Oh yeah, a free Ben? That's the good right there. Friday is as simple as Greta, where its main gimmick is the piston attack it makes on the ground. Very straightforward. Now it's time for the big bad of chapter 2. I honestly love the fusion idea and that the previous fights prepare you for this. Well, at least until phase 2 where it gains a laser move and missiles. Fantastic. Now aside from repeating what I did for the Butcher where I save my EX for those moves and react to the others, you still want to break its legs. And once a leg is impaired, you should move on to the next one. Oh my god, I'm living on like... I can probably take maybe like 2 or 3 more hits, but like, oh my god, my actual heart is racing, bro. Wait, please tell me this isn't real, chat. This isn't real. This is scripted, right? Why is it coming at me like that? Okay, it's scripted, thank God. If you thought that would be the last time we'd see the construction boss, you would be wrong since I also need his mats for Ben's core skill. For no other reason than to waste time, the devs made me fight a single shielding robot at the start. Oh, and he's resistant to fire damage? Awesome. Luckily, with a fully charged counter, we can easily get rid of his shield, so it's just a matter of wearing each other down. But I am smarter than the average bear. The downside is that it takes around 8 minutes to fight, and will continue to be the case until I level up more. Time to try the other Chapter 1 rally commission. Oh good, the same fissure challenge, but with a worse buff.
Just then, the king felt true fear for the first time.
Phase 2 Butcher is still as aggressive but doable. I get Ben to level 40 so that we can take on the level 40 version, which now takes a painful 10 minutes. The real kicker is the fact that even if we unlock the level 60 version later, it still only drops 1 weekly material per run. That is certainly a choice by the devs. Further build progress with getting my only Bang Boo to level 20 and equipping some leveled up relics, the best I can do for now. In the northern area rally commission, I encountered the first non-combat challenge for Ben only. It's because of my slow movement speed. Can you see why this video took over 4 months to make? I'll be back for you another day, Fissure Challenge. Mark my words. In the southern area, we had a similar but slightly easier coin challenge. However, what I dislike about this one is that you have to waste time killing these enemies at the start to unlock the next area. On the flip side, this one gives way more opportunities to perfect dodge and comes down to memorizing the coin placements. First, focus on perfect dodging, using the laser to my advantage. Ignore the enemies. Continue this strategy until we get at least 125 gear coins. Murder the peasants. Perfect dodge this landmine, then this one because you missed the first one. Probably choose the worst pathing to barely clutch the requirement. Struggle to remember how to play the game after being so locked in for gear coins. Profit. Out of the 5-star Bang Boos, the Butler is the best since he helps provide free energy for Ben to use his specials more. You might wonder why I took so long to get him with all those wishes saved. It's simple, I wanted to pull on stream for that content. Wow, 44 pulls for my first S tier Bang Boo. Ooh, I cannot use that. Unfortunate. Oh, yes! Yes! After leveling up and equipping our new servant, let's continue on to the mini-boss of Chapter 3. Considering this enemy is based on a ballerina, you would think it would be faster and more aggressive like Thanatos, but it mainly sticks close to me and sticks to spin attacks. Hope I'm not getting gaslit into thinking this will be easy. Okay. I mean, if it's just 2 of them, but they have the same moveset, this should be fine. Okay, can't. Oh my god! I think I just have to focus on dodging. What? Bro, that hitbox is instant of the lasers. What? I'm concerned and confused what is happening. Really? Oh, this is bullshit. This is bull. You might be thinking, what will I do now? I can't level up Ben or my butler further. I could try to disc drive farm a little bit, or I could just run it down again. It would help if I mastered dodging, but I did start the battle with almost full HP, so we can afford some small mistakes. For this particular move, using my counters to at least negate some of the damage is valid. Since I have to kill both within a short time frame, I'm focusing all of my attention on keeping their HP relatively the same throughout the fight. If I stun just one and the other has more HP, I switch to prioritize them. I honestly should have saved my ultimate for this final bit for the burst damage, but my Ben basics managed to squeeze out the victory. Now that we are done with the story for the time being, I went through all of the early stages of Shiyu defense, clearing it with ease since I'm over leveled. New enemy, but safe, good, reliable Ben strats for the win. Well, guess that's as far as Ben can go in Shiyu defense for now. Just so the audience knows, literally zero pity. I have not rolled a single time on
Zhu Yuan in 10, I believe in you, Ben. I lied.
I know what the animation looks like, Ray. All right, 3 4-stars though. That's pretty good.
And good one, Nicole.
You know, that's okay. We expected that. Okay.
Ooh, congratulations.
Oh my god.
Bro's gonna get cursed.
How many Bens are you trying to pull, Ben?
So I only need 3. And then whatever we have left over goes to
The
if we can get his
banner.
engine. At least 1. That's
To
the
the
goal.
Benjin.
Okay, we're skipping. Alright, let's see what we got. Yeah!
Yeah.
Yes!
That's 1 Ben.
1 Ben. Oh, I don't want you either.
This is
Dude,
a little bit concerning.
this is
What? Ah!
bro, it's not happening right now.
It does.
From what I
I got a mail
understand.
song for Zhu Yuan.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
Yippee.
I sent a Nekomata.
Congratulations on Zhu Yuan.
Yuan.
Congratulations on the Nicole.
Oh.
Down.
Yes, okay. Okay, just 1 more.
Just 1 more and the pain ends.
With this 10 pull, I summon.
Another Zhu Yuan.
With this 10 pull, I summon
Oh,
more
God.
pain.
Oh lord.
Please, please.
I- I
Yes!
Ah,
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh. Okay.
Nicole engine. Nicole engine.
Awesome. Awesome. Once again, with this 10 pull, I summon.
this 10 pull, you summon pain. You summon 1A.
God. This is the game of all time. Alright, let's see. Okay, yes!
Ben.
Yes! Yes!
It took him everything.
It
He
took
stole,
him-
stole this man's wallet. But it,
What wallet? I didn't spend any money. They just stole my time.
It stole my time and my patience.
But yes, honestly, this could have ended so much worse, so I'm happy with this. Upgrades, people, upgrades. Big cylinder equipped, skills max to level 13 until we unlock the final ascension. My relics are still the same though. No. Oh my god, 3, 4?
3 Ben weapons, guys.
That would be so pog. But this is
Vengeance.
gotcha.
3 Nicole weapons.
No, please. Wait, that's not. Oh
Shokaku's.
no.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay, we still got 1 more. Okay, yeah. Wow, we got
Yeah.
all 3 of them. Yippee.
4 Benjins.
Oh, okay. That's 1.
How many do you need left?
2 more.
I think the probability is pretty good.
I mean, the probability is the best it can be for me, because, you know, they haven't added more to the sampling pool yet. They're gonna be like the last ones.
So Kaku.
Okay.
Oh,
I think I just
Oh.
need 1 more.
Yeah,
Oh!
and he got it.
At its core, Hollow Zero is a roguelike game mode where you traverse a series of floors via the TV screens, interact with several types for different effects, and obtain Rosania buffs along the way. If you get 4 or 8 of the same Rosonia type, it'll fusion into an additional powerful one.
Each of the big 3 has its own gimmick trade-off mechanic to play off of. In the Butcher stage, you were given 3 corruptions right off the bat along with the following Rosonia. The idea is to encounter these corruption locks or cleanses and continue building pressure for HP restoration and damage increase. Honestly, since I'm always gonna have max corruption effects, it loses all meaning of, oh no, I'm corrupted. I just ignore its existence. As for the Butcher himself, I noticed that he gained this 1 dash ability that he occasionally used. Otherwise, the fight is the same with just more HP, so another victory under our belt. My friend told me, I don't know how you're gonna do the Jane story with Ben only. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm clearly only using Ben on my screen. Then out of nowhere, the devs added these 2 assault commissions, and let me tell you, they got hands. Excuse me, how much damage did she deal to me? Oh my god, this little rat got so lucky. Editor, run that back. Now that I know what to expect, it's Jane Dover. Even busted out the secret Ben follow-up attack move I learned off screen. I gotta give Jane some respect though. She made me use 10% of my true power. Now onto the other assault commission, and would you look at that, 2 of these Rosonia effects are useless for Ben only. I see this one also requires 10% of my power. Great. The next wave is double ethereal. Cringe. Finally, the Butcher. Again. Hold on, editor, replay that. Is that the first time the Butcher has used a move without the sound or red flash indicator? My first thought is I need to preserve as much health as I can during the second wave. Best way to do that is to target the smaller ethereal since they are way more mobile and unpredictable at times, while the big guy stays close to me.
Just try me. Try this.
Yeah, I lost focus right at the end. I sidetracked to do the other new commissions first. Oh look, it's Razor. I'm excited to properly fight him with Ben only this time. Clearly, the grenade spammer needs to go first in this fight. I can't be mad because I fumbled this one hard. Finally, now to clutch the 1v1. The main counterplay to this enemy is to trigger Disorder. Since he constantly has electricity when activated, it takes a really long time for Ben to trigger, since the only way to apply Fire Anomaly and the burn status on this enemy is by my counters and ultimates. But when it triggers, we eating so good. Alright, back to this pain. I actually used the lock-on feature for once. Believe me, I am playing my absolute best out here. It just sucks one slip up results in taking at least 1k of my HP. I can also just perfect no damage taken in the first phase of Butcher, so that works too. It could have gone either way right at the end, but fortunately, Butcher made a misplay before me. Back to Hollow Zero. The construction stage mechanic is a loan shark along with this Rosonia. This one is my personal favorite because you get a lot of free coins that you can spend on shops for Rosonias. Remember when I said there was no advantage to Ben only in the TV screen sections? This is the one exception, the time battle challenge. It auto skips even if I agree to do it because the devs don't believe anyone with sanity would attempt to solo it. Sucks to find out in the moment, but I later used this to my advantage to avoid some worse choices in the pathing. One interesting mechanic for all of Hollow Zero is if you beat the boss on the first floor without losing HP, you will get a portal unlocked to the next area. Granted, I have no idea how I got this, because if I check the footage, I start with 9,367 HP and I ended the level with 9,211 HP, not even having a shield to inflate my HP pool. Anyway, I use it to skip right to the second floor boss. While that's great for speedrunning, unfortunately it did end up screwing me over because I missed out on getting enough coins to pay back the loan, so he forces me to discard 2 of my Rosonias. Moral of the story, don't take shortcuts and always pay off your debts, kids. Just waiting for that last hamster cage before I quintuple crown my boy's skills. The twins have the most anxiety-causing mechanic where your own HP is currency. I mean, the odds that I, the self-proclaimed greatest Ben Bigger player that's ever lived, would die while on serious life support is highly unlikely. My ego aside, I do like this one because it makes me actively try to avoid fights or to pick my fights wisely. Plus, we get enough medical supplies to heal up to a comfortable amount for the final fight. Unlike before, we are boosted by Rosonia, so the twins went down a lot quicker and easier. But I'm not done yet. There's the Withering Garden stage. You start by picking one of the 3 previous Rosonias you encountered before. Personally, I prefer the coins one. For my first run, I made a mistake by not buying another Ignite Rosonia here. Alright, turns out I cannot face tank that attack. You either run to cover or time your dodge like I just did. Oh great, the boss has a bullet hell phase. I don't even know anymore. If it weren't for the avocado boo healing me, I would have reset already. As for how to deal with this bullet hell phase, I like to call my strategy random bull go and abuse all the iframes. Luckily the boss can only do that move once, so if you survive, we know we're good. After that tutorial, we can now add additional modifiers to make Withering Garden runs even harder. Hooray! Before that, a quick detour to try the new disrupted node of Shiyu defense, which is a lot less stressful since all that matters is not dying for S ranks. There is no time limit, and if there's anything I'm good at, it's stalling for content. Well, that didn't take long. 2 stages and I already have to use a second team in order to progress further. Next, they suddenly want me to do a side commission to hunt down that bug boss again, and I experience discrimination for my slow movement speed and large hitboxes as everything lands on me during this section of the level. Legitimately, if that part of the level didn't exist, I would have had more HP for the final fight. Oh great, I have to start the whole thing over again. On the bright side, I don't have any corruption on me to make the run worse. I should have gotten S rank 2 if I just had literally another 100 HP. That hurts. At least clearing it is enough to unlock Hollow Zero's final surprise, Inferno Reap, a game mode focused on dealing the most damage to the bug boss within a short time span. We're not strong enough to deal with this right now, so say it with me everyone, we'll come back to this later. I'm finally back to attempt this fissure challenge, and I'm happy to show you how I finally got it after 7 attempts. Step 1. Immediately dash left and right after grabbing the first stopwatch. Wait to dodge the lasers and quickly claim all the gear coins before continuing forward. At the next stopwatch, go left and right again before proceeding up the stairs. Wait for the first mine to trigger. Walk past the second. Wait for the third mine to trigger. Grab as many as you can here after getting the stopwatch. If we have at least 50% of the coins before the next stopwatch, we have a solid run. Continue moving forward, dodging the lasers to trigger Vital View. Do not bother breaking the boxes. Ignore the area to the left. I found it to be a red herring for Ben only. Continue downward to the stairs. Perfectly dodge at least one of these bombs before getting to the final area. Trigger the first laser of each side. Perfect execution with just 5 seconds to spare. Then the biggest bull I have ever seen in a Hoyle game. I said Ben was discriminated against earlier as a joke. This time, I mean it. I tried everything I could think of just to somehow maybe move forward just a little bit into this passageway. I cannot believe the pain I have caused myself here. I'm just saying, Zenless devs, since you're planning on making it so every character can walk around the overworld maps, a scenario like this better be addressed for Ben or any similar future characters. Listen, I proved it was possible to beat that challenge with just Ben. So this right here, this bending of the rules is justified. Hoyle forced my hand. After 5 salty attempts, I can finally claim this chest. After that, I went back and got the S rank for that foliage hunt commission from earlier. Now for Inferno Reap. There are several ways I can squeeze out damage for Ben only. First, for every run of Withering Garden you complete, you can choose to save the Rosonias you gained as kits that you can equip in Inferno Reap. So this time I chose a lot more damage damage or days related Rosonia like critical and dual. At the very least, I want to have the first fusion of both, since getting double fusion level 2 Rosonias with the RNG involved is tough. The second method is at the start of the level, and after you completely defeat the bug's HP bar, it'll spawn tendrils and bugs that you can defeat to gain a little bit more time. Note that during these phases, the timer is completely stopped. Given my slow movement speed, however, it only buys me a few extra seconds that are used up by walking back to the boss. But hey, we already went from 7 million to 18 million damage. My personal goal to call this complete is to hit that 25 million damage in a single run, which means it's finally time for me to bite the bullet and farm disc drives. However, jokes on Hoyoverse, Ben scales off defense, so getting it on a disc that already has at least one crit substat is a blessing in disguise. After 4 days of farming, I finally have a 4-piece fire set for DPS Ben. As for the 2-piece, I took my friend's advice with penetration ratio, since I have the butler to help with the energy regeneration. Oh yeah, these stat boosts are looking real nice. The last method we have control over is the buff from the noodle shop items. First, I tried the fire damage one, since most of my damage will come from countering and my ultimate, and I think the results speak for themselves, getting closer and closer. This time, I'll try the noodles that increases damage against boss enemies by 30%. The first 2 attempts were about equal in damage output as before. The third run, however, 27.4 million damage. So what exactly happened to cause such a drastic damage increase? For one, I realized when the bug does its side swipe attacks, it's more efficient to counter the first one, do a basic attack or dodge to cancel out the animation, and then immediately counter the second. The second condition is one I don't like relying on, but I got blessed with RNG because while normally the bug goes to the center after it's defeated, it decided to stay right next to me, so I was able to get the lucky tendril spawns and gain an extra 7 seconds. Other than that, my strategy was the same as parrying everything I can and saving my ultimate when the enemy is finally stunned. You can see that was the final blow we needed to clutch victory. Hollow Zero has been conquered by one single bear. What about Withering Garden difficulty 11, you ask? I highly recommend checking out the guide made by Steambun X if you want a more in-depth explanation, but the TLDR is for clearing the higher difficulties, you want the Shield Rosonia, especially the Fusion level 1, as this passive is, in my opinion, the golden ticket. Plus, many of the Shield Rosonias give you additional free buffs just for having a shield. From my experience, you're gonna be at max corruption no matter how many bad TV screens you avoid, and the purple corruption always gives on-field characters cancer. 100%, I would not have survived the second floor fight if it weren't for the shields. Trying to cleanse that purple corruption is a rarer event than getting a double 5-star. Not even a minute later, I got it right back anyway, because these floors are so long. So yeah, if you're struggling or want to try the higher difficulty for bragging rights, getting Shield Rosonias is the perfect strategy.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always!
We can finally address Shiyu defense. First, I only care about clearing the permanent stages to consider the challenge complete. Second, I'm gonna do what some Hoyoverse endgame creators do and stitch the 2 half runs together. As long as Ben can complete a stage of stable node within a total of 5 minutes for both sides, regardless of what the game says, that counts as an S rank and we complete the stage. Switching over to Disrupted Node, this feels more like a reward for Ben since all I have to do is take my time to ensure my survival. Chapter 4. For once, we finally have a typing advantage against the new enemies, and since our build is complete with no other way to improve our solo damage output, we just breeze through these fights. What about Mr. Ethereal John Wick? Well, I actually fought him already in a random blitz run and learned his moveset after my ass got beat the first time. So yeah, not an issue. Don't worry, you're gonna see this boss again before the end of the video. Back to that Disrupted Node montage. Well, until Node 7. To give you a little behind the scenes look and how I was feeling about this first half with only Juyen and Ambi, I think this meme format describes it best.
You say it's too late to make it, but is it too late to try?
Let me tell you though, the adrenaline rush I felt when I finally got the first half done was fulfilling. That said, the final stage required I have a full team comp if I had any chance of clearing the first half for Ben to solo the second half. Of course, it's the one ethereal that teleports causing me the most pain. I died so many times I lost count. Aside from having to be actually good and learn the attack patterns, a lot of it came down to me fighting my own impatience for an hour. Razor was a worthy final opponent for Ben in the second half, actually managing to get a drop of blood from me. Nothing felt more satisfying than clearing the first half with Ben only after all that pain. With that, Shiyu permanent stages have all been completed. These are the final rally challenges that caused me problems. I want the devs who approved of this to sleep with one eye open tonight. You are forced to pick up this Rosonia that makes the Ether Lightning deal more damage to everyone. Great for enemies getting hit, not for the slowest character in the game. But of course, half the enemies have Ether resistance. We can't make it too easy now. And well, quite frankly, I got incredibly lucky that I still had one revive left and that the final robot jumped onto me while I was feeling the full wrath of the Raiden Shogun. But the devs weren't satisfied with just one. I know what you're thinking if you've been watching this far. It's okay, you don't have to do this. It's an optional challenge. Yeah, but after 3 hours total of failed attempts, I knew it was just barely possible. Aside from that absolute bull spawn camping ether strike at the start, it's possible to time my dodges and mainly run around in circles until the lightning kills the enemies for waves 1 and 2. Yes, I can counter the lightning, but I have to be very careful when I do because there isn't enough time to worry about getting hit by lightning and hitting the enemies to build up my energy for more counters. I used my ultimate right before I died so I could wipe out nearly all of wave 3, immediately ran away because for some reason from wave 3 onward, the lightning strikes dial up to 11 and they love spawn camping where I just died if I used the revive, used another counter to avoid a strike and got lucky hits on the robot, repeated the same thing for the big robot since running away is not an option anymore at this point. I'm on to the final wave, I can take 3 lightning strikes before dying. I'm literally abusing the game mechanic where the revive gives me back my ultimate. Why? I don't know, but I'll happily take it as I managed to just barely clutch an optional side challenge that had literally everything going against Ben. While I hated every second of it, at least every roadblock in this video has been different in some way. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but yes, at this time, they added a new game mode called Blitz. It's Withering Garden, but there are no TV screens, just a couple of preset maps where you fight some waves of enemies, get some Rosonias, and speedway your weekly Hollow Zero run. Personally, this is a tougher version for Ben only, since without the TV screens, I gain less Rosonias per run and am less powerful. Regardless, I recommend the same strategy as before where you just pick the shield Rosonias and you're fine. Seriously, it's that good.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa!
That's too damn bad!
Well, the devs outdid themselves by giving us another new endgame mode to conquer. I wasn't planning on coming back for version 1.3, but a tower-like mode was very intriguing. After clearing the first 5 floors, I realized in retrospect, this is just Spiral Abyss and Zenless. Well, too late to turn back now, unless I delete the footage. Anyway, for the first 25 floors, it's split into 5 phases, which is great since I start each phase with full HP. For those unaware, any damage you take in this mode between stages per phase is permanent. Defense characters like Ben get a chance to shine once again. Man, can every enemy in this phase not have fire resistance? Did Hoyo spy through my computer and know I tried to solo this? Fortunately, I found the 10-minute timer to be more than enough for each stage. Hold up. Why aren't my EX specials depleting his shield at all? Yeah, it turns out the devs gave some of the enemies new moves that we've never seen before, and my guess is that's what's happening with that shield. Luckily, the enemy attacks are slow and predictable, so it's just a matter of smacking it till it dies. I did try food buffs to see if they carried over like the other endgame modes or commissions. Yeah, we don't have the food buff icon in the upper right, so that's a no. At the very least, I'm lucky the enemies with fire resistance are only in the early parts of the tower. Would you look at that? The next phase of enemies have fire weakness. Finally, a reward for being skilled. Well, perhaps I celebrated a little too early, having to see this pair again. See guys, I told you we'd see John Wick again. I threw. My first thought was using Avocado Boo for healing. Then I found out the hard way that this is one of the few Bang Boos that doesn't do any chain attack. It's unfortunate to lose that extra damage, but I think I'm fine. The problem with this Bang Boo is it fires the healing bullet, which doesn't always land on me. I have to sometimes walk over to the healing. Yeah, this idea isn't gonna work out.
Like, I've noticed this with whenever I watch someone play Zenless Zero, is it's just they're stupidly tanky for some reason.
No, I pressed my
that.
E on God, right hand on the Bible.
I saw that. That was unfortunate.
The next idea I had was to completely reset from floor 11 and make my way up to floor 15 with as much HP as possible. I know the enemies are easy enough to do 0 damage runs. After like 10 annoying resets, I finally took 0 damage on floor 14. Alright, allow me to explain to you how I finally adapted to John Wick after 30 minutes. Phase 1 is simple as the strategy is primarily stick to the boss's side. For some reason his backside has an inconsistent hitbox. Then I primarily dodge and save my counters for when he slams the ground in front of him, followed by the multiple lasers, as it gives me a lot of free iframes. Rinse and repeat. Once he's stunned the second time and close to phase 2, save your energy. In phase 2, we'll want to use our counters to stagger the first hits of his moves, whether it be from his small sidearm sword or the giant slam. We mainly need to really look out for his multiple swings, which you should only dodge instead of trying to counter or parry if you're using a full team. Now, I'll be real with you. After he was knocked down for the first time in phase 2, the boss's AI decided to only use the giant slam that's easy to parry forever. With my butler and mixing in some basic attacks in between the boss's end lag, I had more than enough energy to infinitely chain counters and stun him until it was done. Oh, I'm cooked. The one thing Ben can't parry, freaking gunfire. Once I get rid of the smaller enemies, I can handle the 1v1. Similar case for floor 17. Seriously, a minion dealing 800 damage to me is not okay. Those minions being stronger is quite annoying since it's hard to group them, but if I have to reset, I can definitely save as much HP as I can in these early stages. Okay. I'm sorry, what? Bro sucked me up from across the map. Well, I came back with at least half of my HP. It didn't matter. Razor hits that hard, and I realized his only reason for existing is to promote anomaly character sales. Plus, the stage buff gives him even more HP and attack to the point that this is impossible for me. Well, we found the limit for Ben solo, which honestly, all things considered, I think this is still a win for Mr. Bearthyron. Again, there's no way to currently increase my damage output since it's already limited by the fact that most of it comes from countering, so that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, the training weights are off. It's time to finally ascend from Ben only to Ben main DPS and pair him with my wife Caesar and this random sassy girl I found in the outer ring. As far as gameplay and strategy goes, Caesar's core skill provides a shield for on-field characters, which paired with the parries between switching and Ben's counters makes me feel very safe in these fights. Don't get the wrong idea though. Even with that, I still have to actually play well if I don't want to take insane damage for no reason. Floors 21 to 25 are proof of that. Observe. And that's it. Zenless Zone 0 beaten with Ben only. Well, around 95% of it anyway. I hope this video has convinced some of you who have neglected your free Ben to give him a chance. Hopefully when this video comes out, he's still a rate up 4-star on the current Ben banner. Thank you all for watching. I'm DragonLordLeda, and until then, on to my next video.